So coming off of the previous chapter, we saw that Choso forced Kenjaku to use a curse technique that wasn't Geto's curse spirit manipulation in order to defend himself against the supernovas. And this was enough for TSUKUMO to decide to step in and take on Kenjaku herself. But regarding TSUKUMO, Kenjaku says that she's a special grade sorcerer, but headquarters keeps a tight lid on intel about her curse technique. Or so I thought. I couldn't get any information from the higher ups, which is interesting because like you think that they would know about her. Also, since they designated her a special grade, they would have to know something, right? Unless this is like Tengen's doing, possibly. But Kenjaku winds up summoning the elephant curse spirit that we saw him use a couple chapters back in America when he killed those soldiers. And he says that it's a special grade curse spirit that uses concepts against curse techniques. And this is like typical ambiguous Gege wording. Uses concepts against curse techniques. It doesn't really matter because TSUKUMO instantly kills this thing by shaping her Shikigami Garuda into like a ball and just one-shotting it with it. And then she straight up reveals to Kenjaku what her ability is, and she says it's mass. So I don't know if this is like fitting the prerequisite of revealing one's hand binding vow, like revealing how your curse technique works to your opponent, and then you get like a cursed energy boost or your technique becomes more effective. I don't know how much information you have to divulge because she just says it's mass, so maybe it's enough. I don't know. It's not really being made clear here. But she hits Kenjaku so hard that she like punches through his guard. Like his right arm comes off and his left arm is broken from this strike, and he just gets sent like DBZ style, like through the barrier. And she says, yep, that's my technique. I gave myself virtual mass and call it Star Rage. And my technique turned the Shikigami Garuda into a curse tool. It's Star Rage's only target besides me. So yeah, I guess that's her curse technique, Star Rage, which allows her to manipulate her mass, but not like literally in a sense. It's odd how it works, because going further, Kenjaku says, I suspected increased mass doesn't affect the sorcerer herself because her speed isn't decreasing. So I guess she's increasing the mass of either her cursed energy or like the strike itself or the impact or something like that, just not directly influencing the mass of like herself. She's not becoming denser or heavier, but like whatever she's doing is. So she gets all the benefits of weighing like multiple tons, but not having to actually weigh that much because it would like slow her down. So like when she hits Kenjaku, she's moving as she normally would, but the strike is like being hit by, I don't know, 10 tons or something. But also she can manipulate Garuda, her curse tool Shikigami thing. So when she kicked him as a ball at the Ganesh curse spirit, it was like kicking the equivalent of like a cruise ship at it, maybe. I don't know how much it weighed, but it was pretty dense, along with like her strikes. So yeah, she's extremely powerful, as we assumed. She's been hyped up for a while, and she's one of 4 special grade sorcerers, so yeah. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Ridge Wallet. So guys, I know a lot of you probably don't have the best wallet game right now, but that's where Ridge comes in. Ridge makes these awesome minimalistic slim wallets that also have RFID blocking. This is the matte black titanium version. So the Ridge Wallet holds up to 12 cards, and they easily slide in just like this. It's so smooth, and it has a little notch at the bottom to bring them out even smoother. It also has a cash strap on the back, easily put in your cash, and it stays secure. But Ridge also has key holders. Just like the Ridge Wallet, this thing has a nice weight to it, super sturdy. This is the gunmetal version, and it just holds my keys like a dream, guys. I love this thing so much. It even holds my gym membership, which is awesome. But aside from what I have, they also have over 30 colors and styles, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium. The wallets also have over 50,000 5-star reviews. So guys, if you're interested in getting yourself a Ridge wallet and a key holder, check out the link in the description or go to ridge.com/bigz, because right now you're going to be able to save up to 40% through December 22nd. So again, that's ridge.com/bigz. Thanks guys. But then Kenjaku decides that like he can't use a high grade curse spirit against her because she defies concepts. I guess because she instantly killed the elephant curse spirit, so he's like, she'll just keep doing that to the rest of them maybe. I don't know. I think this is kind of just Gege's shortcut to making Kenjaku use his domain. But then TSUKUMO's like, gravity. That was gravity. In reference to what Kenjaku did to save himself from taking Choso's supernovas like point blank. And she says that Kenjaku's curse technique, aside from curse manipulation and techniques that allow him to transfer body, like that gravity technique, he isn't using idle transfiguration, which I already figured out. So he can only use a curse technique extracted with Uzumaki once. So that's that's a good balancing factor for Kenjaku here. When he uses Geto's cursed spirit manipulation's maximum technique, which is called Uzumaki, he like fuses all of the cursed spirits together into like the Uzumaki type thing, and then they can fire off like a huge beam of cursed energy. But also there's like another ability to it where all like the semi-grade 1 and higher cursed spirits, once they're fused, he can like extract their curse techniques into himself and then use them without having to summon the cursed spirit. Because we saw him do that to Mahito at the end of Shibuya, and then he used Idol Transfiguration. But apparently he can only do that once, which is, like I said, a good balancing factor for Kenjaku, because if he could always use those curse techniques, it would just be too broken. He'd be like all for one. But then she also says that Kenjaku can use reverse curse tech. And this is very true, because in the previous page, we see him like fixing his hands and arms that were, you know, damaged by Tsukumo's strike. And then she says, so it's hard to imagine that he would have used a one-off technique at that moment, which I don't know why it's hard to believe. He could have just done that, but I guess for the sake of Gege revealing this to the audience, that he is in fact using some kind of curse technique that manipulates gravity or something. And she says that I doubt he has a big stock of extracted techniques like from Uzumaki. Without an external aid like a Kotsu's, his brain would burst, but he might have a fourth technique, so that's really interesting. She's implying that like having multiple curse techniques would be too much on your brain, because it was also revealed like a while ago, like in the beginning of the series, I think by Shoko, that cursed energy is like tied to the brain, but there's still like a lot of mystery to it. So I guess that has something to do with it, but also that explains why Okotsu has Rika. Rika is like his external hard drive to hold his techniques for him, because if he was just holding them himself, I guess his brain would just burst. So that's how he's able to use multiple curse techniques as well as copying them. He just stores them on Rika for later use. But also her saying that Kenjaku might have a fourth technique is insane. It's like, how is he doing this? And it also goes into how is Sukuna potentially doing it, because we all assume that Sukuna has multiple techniques as well, right? At least 3. I'm not going to get into the Sukuna speculation in this video. He's special. I'm sure he's figured something out, as well as Kenjaku. But they ultimately decide that they're like a tough matchup for each other, even though I think TSUKUMO could probably defeat him if she just bull rushed him. But she goes back to her original plan that she made with Tengen and Choso a couple chapters back, saying that she's just trying to make him open his domain so that he'll have difficulty using curse technique afterwards, and also just keep wearing him down to weaken the domain itself. But then Kenjaku just shows his hand, and he's like, you know, we find each other's curse techniques to be tricky, but you haven't opened your domain. Perhaps a lack of confidence and a clash of domains. And then he activates his domain expansion, which is called Womb Profusion. And this is awesome looking, but also I'm not really sure like if this is Geto's first spirit manipulation domain, or this is like Kenjaku's innate domain. Not really sure. I have a feeling that we're not even really going to get to see what this does, because at the end of this chapter, after he activates it, Tsukumo's like, Tengen, and then he's like, this timing, is there enough time? And he puts up his hands like this, and it's like, is Tengen going to activate his domain? Because like when they activate domains in this series, they hold up like some kind of hand seal or hand sign or something. So I guess this might be Tengen activating his domain, or he's using some kind of barrier technique. But if he is activating his domain, I guess it's to clash with Kenjaku's here. You know, what he was saying that Tsukumo is afraid to do with him. And then whoever the stronger sorcerer is, you know, there's overlap it or whatever. But maybe he's just trying to nullify it in a way, you know, for the benefit of Tsukumo, of course. Or he's using a barrier technique, like I said, and that barrier technique is going to like stifle Kenjaku's domain here. But either way, I think we're going to see Tengen helping Tsukumo not fall victim to Kenjaku's domain. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Super exciting stuff. Let me know what you think about this chapter in the comments, and if you liked the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.